Yo, my name is Mr. Wriggler, and I recorded some of my games from my previous session. There's some really interesting ones in here, so sit back, make yourself comfortable. Maybe you want to play and just, I guess, have this in the background. But this is definitely a more chill video. I'm going to be doing some yapping. We get to talk about this random deck. It's pretty cool. I actually saw Mogwai post the video of the Latios deck, and he used Sylvally. This is a similar idea, but you use the Dragon Arcana. Also hits for 100 damage if you have two different energies. So I think it's just a better Sylvally. It doesn't need a supporter card. But yeah. Anyways, that's a small tangent. I recorded some games. We get to talk about the meta, talk about the spots, talk about the deck, of course. This is the deck I'm using right now. It's definitely the deck I found most success with, right, in terms of just steady climbing. I know a lot of people might find it to brick. That was my experience also initially. But when you understand that it's, I guess, variance, and for the most part, you're going to find the pieces to get this deck to do what you need it to do. But an interesting thing about this game is that's a katana. And I first logged on and I was seeing people talk about Buzzwole being back in the meta. And funny enough, I actually experimented with Buzzwole like a couple of days ago, and it was really good into beating like the dark Greninja. It's just really good at tearing up Chinglings. Tears the board apart with your Pheromosa. But this game is actually like quite interesting. It gets very close. And the reason why I stopped playing Buzzwole is because Suicune just reminded me how oppressive Suicune is to decks like Buzzwole. Like, there's so many cool decks that have just been completely phased out. Like, do you remember Sylveon? Yeah, me neither. Suicune completely just shut that card down. But yeah, I went 4-4 with my Buzzwole deck, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is not going to work. But I see that a lot of the Japanese players are experimenting with it. And we do find our Altaria. And we can pretty much sweep here. Unless they get a Buzzwole and they Lusamine, which does actually end up happening. But yeah, like, I guess I wanted to talk about this Buzzwole deck because, yeah, the Japanese player, like, this is so cool about the Japanese player, the player community, is that they experimented to try and figure out how to beat this deck right now. The deck that I'm playing, this Altaria Greninja. Because it's so ridiculous. This Altaria Greninja deck is ridiculously good. It's beyond Suicune at this point. So it's cool to see that the people are in the workshop and they're trying to figure stuff out. Now look how close this game actually gets. Like, they find all the pieces. So how they win is because they've got 2 points. Is they need to tag my Froakie, yeah. And I didn't put down my Swablu because I didn't want to be tagged like multiple times where that 30 damage from the punch, because they won't be able to Lusamine and Cyrus at the same time. So I didn't want to put my Swablu into range of 30 after being tagged by a Pheromosa hit. So that's the reason why I didn't put down Swablu the round before. I didn't need it to increase the damage, and I didn't want to be tagged, my Swablu to be attacked. So yeah, this is how they win. They're Erican now, so I can't KO them. And then in the following turn, they can Cyrus. So I need a Cyrus right now to win the game. Otherwise, I think I lose. And wouldn't you know it? Just a little bit of BM here. Yeah, we're quite toxic like that. But love to see Buzzwole. I think it's one of the best decks ever created in this game. Yeah, I think it's such a perfect deck. It's just pity that Suicune just absolutely decimated it completely out of existence, because it does lose to Suicune. The other deck that I saw was I heard about was Boswell, Greninja, and I think that's just far too many pieces. You need Lusamine, Leaf Cape, Erica. Now you want to put Greninjas in? Brother. Like, that's an overcook. But then again, like, how else are you going to deal with Suicune? Like, you know. Buzz, that 120 damage we're learning is just an awkward amount. You need to be able to sweep. Pheromosa is typically, like, quite good at putting damage across the board, but, yeah. Anyways. This is a interesting game. So one of the key strategies of this deck is being able to use Swablu as a sleep and stall the game, especially against the mirror where a Chingling is locking you out of evolving. It's also the reason why I really like Frogadier in this deck, is because the mirrors are so miserable that Frogadier just allows you that extra out when you're locking each other out of playing items with Chinglings. Also can one-hit KO Chingling. But that's where this meta is right now. It's like Ching on Ching warfare, dude. So yeah, they're going extra aggressive with this Altaria. They ping the correct thing, I think. But yeah, like, we lose our energy. We weren't able to successfully sleep with the Chingling. We no longer item locked. But our move here isn't to evolve the Swablu and still get hit in the face for 150. Our move here is to rely on the sleep. Like, it's a saving, like a Hail Mary, to put them into a position where they have to coin flip to wake up and to win. Like, what other card can do this? Like, we were meant to lose this game right there, and we're still alive. Absolutely absurd. And the fact that this thing that just put him to sleep can now evolve into an Altaria? Excuse me? You've got to be joking. Anyways, that's two tails. That's where I want to delete the game, bro. And we are getting very close to our second Greninja. And at this point, like, he's already asleep, right? I didn't need to, like, put in my Swablu again to sleep him again. He stays asleep. So we can evolve him now next turn. Move in. Even if he did stay awake, like, he's going to take up my Greninja. I've got another one. And he's already down as Cyrus. So he wakes up finally, but here at this point I'm doing 150 damage. Well, 170 because I've got two bloody Greninjas. Childish. What is extra childish is that I'm BMing here. So I'm sorry. One thing I was thinking about is imagine there were like emojis that you could just like spam in the game. Like, imagine, look at me, dump this thing and then quickly attack. I'm so childish. But like, imagine like you could just put a smiley face. Like, I'd just be spamming smiley faces like every time he lands a tails. Jesus, can you imagine? Like, if there wasn't molding enough, like, you gotta deal with some guy spamming emotes at you. Yeah. Good thing we don't have that. I don't know what game this is. I think it might be the Suicune. Yeah, it is. Also played in Pocket Mads' tournament last night. We got into Top Cut. I really wanted to play it, not to get some sort of result, but to get enough points to be invited to the Invitational. I believe this is the last one of this series, the last Pocket Mads tournament of the series. And next one will be, you have to be invited to it. And I'm not sure how it works, but there is a Pocket Mads leaderboard, depending on how well you did in terms of your positioning. You got X amount of points, and yeah, there's a leaderboard for that. I'm in the top 40, so I assume that the tournament won't have less than 64 people, so I think I'm pretty sort of to get the invite. I don't know. Then again, I don't know. So this guy, he finds his Greninja EX, puts the energy on the Suicune in the back. I'm sure he just wants to continue to draw cards. So here we're just trying to thin out our hand as much as we can. We're only copycatting for 2 because he did Rare Candy Greninja. And he is drawing cards. But I've played against Suicune so much. Like, I am a Suicune player, you know. I would go so far to say that I've mastered the deck. And I'm especially comfortable in mirrors. Now, I'm not saying this is a mirror, but there's still principles that apply from playing like mirrors that apply in this game, this specific game. Specifically the damage that Suicune does. Because now I'm putting my Altaria in the active. And now I need to manage how much damage it can do to me. That's always one thing I always try to press for in the mirror. Is like, how much damage can I do? How much damage can they do? And then you kind of like swing depending on how much expected damage you're going to take, how much expected damage you can take. But there are other factors like heals and DD, capes, etc. like that. But here, we don't want to put down anything that's going to bloat up their damage. The most they can do is 100. They don't have another Greninja that's amplifying the damage. And they make a mistake. I think this was such a bad mistake. They used the Greninja shifting stream, and now they can't attack. Like, I think that wasn't a mistake. If they had a Froakie, they could have put the Froakie in, retreated out with that one energy after that mistake. But regardless, the game is not over now. And at this point, like, I can still deal 130 if I dump everything. But then what? He just hits me with Suicune, then hits me again with the other Suicune. So again, like, I'm in a position where I need to manage how much damage I'm going to be able to give and how much damage I'm going to take. Now, if I'm only dealing 70, they can heal with 40 plus an extra 20 if they haven't DD. That locks him out of playing the other Greninja. So all these things are going through my mind, and I'm just like, okay, cool. This is as much as I can do right now. I'm going to swing. I think he's desperately looking for... He's got 1 card left. And this is his... I don't know what turn it is. But yeah, he has to put down his Ndidi. I assume that he's putting an Irida down also. Because he's got his entire deck. Wait, did he? Yeah, you researched. Never mind, he can't play Irida now. So again, like, we've managed to pivot around nicely. We're in a perfect HP range where we can tank another 100 damage hits. And we find a Greninja, which is really nice, which means we can do 120 if we put down another Pokemon. Should be fine, as long as we don't put down 2, because then the Suicune will be able to hit for 120 damage, which will KO us. So we can only put down 1. And it's like, okay, we're going to take this thing out, and then we're going to get Marsed. We're going to get Marsed. Like, surely we get Marsed here. And if we do, it's pretty much over. But except we run 2 Cyruses in our deck. We can draw into the one of our 2 Cyruses. And Sleep isn't going to be able to like do anything here, because they can just shifting stream, put something in the active, retreat it out for 1 energy. Very much like how Buzzwole, the Buzzwole tech with Celesteela, like how you would replace your status condition of big beats by retreating something else out. Yeah. So we got a 20% chance of drawing into our 1 outer. No, our 2 outer. Again, I'm just doing the BMs, bro. But yeah, we've got this weekend, we win. Oh my goodness, this is so toxic. I don't deserve this. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I deserve that win, but I don't know, hey. Yeah, I do switch up decks a little bit later on. I do like still experiment with decks at this level, but right now, like this deck, you don't fix something that isn't broken. Oh, I changed the deck on the right. I don't use this deck just yet. I think I'll do one more game with the Altaria Greninja. So, starting Chingling, going first. Like this deck can struggle if you're going first with Swablu or the worst start, which is the Froakie, but it's still very, very playable. You just kind of need to make sure that your Swablu has an energy and can evolve into an Altaria. Like, that's ultimately where your damage is. The moment you lose those two, like your Swablus, you can't win the game. So, like, everything else, you just kind of have to pivot around as much as you can. Just, like, be a struggler, man. That's my best advice, be a struggler. It's nice that we pretty much got the Exodia lineup, especially with the Cyrus in hand. We still, ideally, you kind of do want to lock them out of items there, but like, at the same time, we've got the Greninja Cyrus, so it's like, put down, I actually want them to put down the Absol, which they do, because now that Absol just becomes the target. And that's the cool thing about this deck is like you're dealing so well into Hydreigon Absol. You can't really do much. But yeah, we kind of need a basic to be able to do the 130 plus 20 damage ping damage. Because then like the Absol is just in trouble land. Like this Hydreigon, I could put down to 10 HP. Well, I could actually just knock it out straight up. But I think the line, depending if we find the basic, is to just Cyrus it up. Because how they win is being able to hit me with the 130 and being able to follow it up with the Absol damage. So I can't get hit by the 130. No matter what happened here. So I would either have to KO the Hydreigon or just find another alternative plan. So now, because we got the basic, we do 150 damage effective, so that Cyrus is... I mean, that Absol's booty is mine, man. And now they're in an awkward energy position. Like, they could just retreat out and then they won't have... but they would have to put their energy for this turn onto the Hydreigon, and then they don't have energy on anything else on the board. So, kind of disrupting the energy like flow for this game was also quite a good move. Not just putting pressure on the Absol, but just also to disrupt their Hydreigon. That doesn't really change much. The only real concerning card would have been a Dino, but yeah. I like PCL right now in this current meta. With all the sleep that's happening. And they don't have any way to put damage on my Altaria, so I can just pretty much attack. Even if it isn't a Rocky helmet, like I've still got enough HP just to be able to tank whatever is on the board. Because, again, like they don't have energy on anything. So, there's nothing in their deck that can do 40 damage to me on this turn. So I like what I did here. I split it up. I put the ping on the Absol and then smacked the Hydreigon. Like, this plan would not have worked if they had a PCL this turn, like, imagine. But yeah, I don't think they run 2 PCLs, so even if a DD heals, he still heals only up to 130, which means he has to self KO. Then he has to put his energy on something. Like, there's nothing really that this guy can do. I've put so much pressure on this game. He has to attach it and then retreat it out. And then he's still got no energy on the board. Yeah. Anyways, this deck doesn't always necessarily go and do what it's meant to do. Like, it is essentially still a high roll deck. It is mitigated through cards like the Lycia and Copycats. And there is a science in terms of like how to play those cards effectively. Like, if you're looking for your Froakie, you got to play your Lycia, then Pokeball. If you need a Swablu, like, you play your... Yeah, I mean, Lycia essentially guarantees you a Swablu, but you got a Pokeball first and then your Lycia. And with Copycat, you just want to play as many cards down as possible to maximize how many cards you get back. And it's really good with this deck because you are able to put down so many cards in a turn. Like, you're able to evolve and then Copycats, or like put something down on the board and then Copycat. I wonder if I've changed decks yet. Oh yes, looks like I'm in darkness. Yeah, I think that this deck can do well into the Greninja Altaria deck. Does well into Hydreigon, actually. It does well into everything. In my opinion, like, if you know how to kind of pilot around the matchups, like later on you'll see we play against a Suicune. And it's like textbook. I know exactly how to beat the Suicune with this deck. You just got to take them into deep waters. I said the thing. But yeah, they locked out. We get a giant fat Copycat next turn. And we are looking for anything that we can put on energy down on this turn. I'm sure you guys know this, but don't put your energy down before you play your Copycats. Play your Copycat first, see what you get, and then put your energy down. Always a good habit to have. And now we do 20 from the Darkrai. 20. Why is this so slow? I didn't increase the speed on this one. Oh well. Okay, this is a decision, I guess. Like, where do we put this Rocky Helmet? We can't put it on the front because they can retreat out and put a Chingling and then KO the Chingling, right? So we still want to item lock them, but we want to be able to... Dude, this is slower than 1x speed. Okay, I guess it gives me time to talk about the spot. But yeah, we want to maximize the damage that we get from this Rocky Helmet. And we're doing 50 damage a turn. 20 from the Darkrai, 20 from Greninja, 10 from the Chingling. So 50 this turn, 50 next turn, 100 plus 120. So we do 220 damage effectively. Crazy. 240 actually, because they have to hit into this Rocky Helmet. That KO's a Mega, by the way. Wow, it really makes a difference when you go from one 1.38 speed, because that's how fast. It's a very meticulous, random number, I know, 1.38, but that's the speed that I increased my. Well, that's how much I increased my speed by. And now it seems like it is so slow. I'm pretty sure this is not 1x speed. But yeah, even if he heals now with Ndidi plus a PCL, he can heal 50, right? Hypothetically, which will bring it up to 130. He has to attack into the Rocky Helmet, brings him down to 110, and we do 120. So there's nothing on board that actually puts him past the threshold. So a swift retreats. Did I say retreat? I mean concede. One thing that's quite funny is I've been pulling from the deluxe pack purely to get more shine dust. I recommend if you're trying to stock up on shine dust, it's the best thing to pull from. Like, I'm still trying to pull Shining Revelry to get my golden Pokeball. Like, I've been pulling that pack since it bloody came out. But I've switched to the deluxe just purely, again, like, I want to increase my shine dust so I'm able to continue to do giveaways. It has proven to be pretty costly in terms of digging the bottom of the barrel of shine dust reserves. But it's a cool thing that I want to continue to be able to do. Give away a cool card that I think a lot of people will really like. But yeah, I mean, to find another Professor Research would be nice also, really. I will genuinely be upset if I pulled a gold rare candy, because having one would just, it would upset me, man. It just messes with the aesthetics of the deck and the equilibrium obsession that I have, the OCD. Alright, so this is the Suicune game where we take them into deep waters, as I love to say. Copycat, they're massive hand. This is what you gotta do. You gotta Chingling them into copycats. Save your red card until you about to move in. But otherwise, take your sweet time. Like, even if they've got a Furky, and they manage to manually evolve. Like, what's annoying is when they have it in DD, and they're able to mitigate the ping damage. Because we're trying to work this Suicune down to a range where this Absol is able to KO it. They've got 8 cards in their hand, they're item locked, they can't put anything down the board. We're able to, like, always put down both Chinglings and make them go through both Chinglings. Make them go through both, like, and then you can set up, you can draw your entire deck and you set up everything. And with Absol being able to deal 140 damage with 2 Greninjas, I think they Mars me already also, so it's like, there's nothing that they can do to stop me from setting up 2 Greninjas. Typically, you don't want to put down 2 Furkies because they Mars you afterwards and then you're stuck with a Furky on board. But this way, like, you know, I've got free reign. I think, yeah. I don't know if that's correct. I think maybe it's probably best to put it on the Absol, because we're going to get attacked by something next. Yeah, we're going to get attacked on Absol at some point. I think they could only draw 1 card that turn, because they were already at 9 cards. They managed to find their Furky. And our last card in the deck is the beautiful red card. So we go for a... This is what I also like to do in terms of sequencing. You play your red card last. Like, I could evolve here. I should evolve and then play my sequencing. But yeah, anyways. Oh, I go for the stars. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But ideally, that Chingling is KO'd and we're able to put the Darkrai in. And then deal 140 damage. Yeah, he's like, oh, hell no. I'm not dealing with that, dude. That red card is brutal after taking both of his researchers. But yeah, that was my session. Hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoy making these videos. I enjoy doing the commentary on it. Oh, it looks like there's an extra game. Is it? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I actually enjoy making these kinds of videos. I get to kind of just yap. I get to talk about the spots, the deck, the meta. Got some chilled beats going. I can't remember what happens in this game. I guess we'll just live commentate. But the session went really well. Like, I've been able to steadily climb for most days. Like, it is dependent on what the meta is doing, but as the meta evolves, you just gotta adjust, I guess. And here, because we item locking them, like, we don't have to copycat now for 3 cards. Like, we can evolve next turn and then copycat into a much bigger hand. And then find something we can put our energy on for the turn, right? Speaking of. But yeah, I was going to talk about like some other general topics, but they really haven't come up. Like some other things that have been going on, just like kind of yapping, I guess. Like I know Free Run Season 2 just came out. There's possibly a new trailer coming out on Thursday for the new expansion. There's some exciting stuff happening that I was kind of keen on talking about. Big copycat. It's pointless pinging the front. Because next turn we just KO this Dino anyways. With the Absol, and we can start deleting his deck. Start taking out the Cyruses, start taking out those researchers. Well, they don't have research, otherwise they would have used it. And now I see that they've got their Absol, which is the best card that they could have found. Provided they don't get a Rocky Helmet, like my Absol is going to effectively be able to trade. And like he has to give up that Dino. Because yeah, I'm going to be able to do 120 damage from the following turn with both pings. With Darkrai and Greninja. Again, we can just ping that. It's pointless pinging the Absol because he's just going to move in and heal it next turn. And we take out the Cyrus. And look at that. They had the Rare Candy, Hydreigon. But we were able to item lock them. So again, like, a Rocky Helmet kind of wins them this fight. But if I remember correctly, they have a cape. And they just don't win this. Otherwise, we do way too much damage. It would be nice to find a Greninja. We found actually everything we need because now we're doing 140 damage a turn. If they hit into us, we're doing 160 damage effectively, which is crazy for an Absol attacking. So it's 100, 120, 140, yeah. 160 damage from an Absol. And this guy hasn't conceded yet, so we go through the whole motions, all the pings, and then we attack. And that's GG, man. There's nothing you can put up in the front that's going to be able to win this game for him. Unless he finds a Dino this turn. This turn exactly. But yeah, alas he didn't. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you guys soon. Cheers.